I've got goosebumps now. Let's talk to Eddie Alvarez. There's a lot to digest here, Eddie, because you said it yourself just there. You said you're betting on yourself. A week ago or so, you told me that you're not fighting until you get a new contract. So what changed?
Nothing changed. I'm still speaking with the UFC and whatnot, but I'm hearing. I heard a lot of rumors. I don't know if originally Dustin's people weren't going to take the fight. I don't know if they believed like, oh, Eddie got more money and Eddie signed a new great deal and new contract, and I just kind of wanted to clear the air that I'm a fighter I'm betting on myself. There wasn't a new contract signed, and whoever. Whether it's his camp or whoever camp out there kind of putting that out there, that's bullcrap. I'm not this new guy coming in who signed this new giant great deal, and that's not what happened. I sat down with Dana and the UFC, and we're still very cordial. We're still talking, and there was no deal signed. But there's a point in every fighter's career where sometimes you roll the dice on yourself. Sometimes you believe in yourself. And then you roll the dice, and I feel like I'm at a point where Dustin's a great fighter, and a lot of people look at him a certain way, and there's certain fights that I'd be super excited about, and I'll tell you what, I'm warming up to this one. It's getting me excited, but I think I like to put myself in a very emotional state, and I think by rolling the dice on myself, put my back against the wall. In the past, I've done really well there, so I'm kind of putting my own back against the wall, and I'm rolling the dice, and I'm betting on me.
Is there any chance that you do get a new contract before this fight, or now that you've accepted it and sort of moved on, signed the bout agreement? I mean, is that now being discussed? Like, are you putting that off to the side until July 29th and beyond?
Well, when we spoke, everything's really good between all of us, all parties. We just haven't come to an agreement. Every deal is different, and every deal takes more time than the next. So I have a feeling we'll get something done. Right now, it's not. So that rather than elongate the process and say I'm not going to fight and stomp my foot down and be a baby, I said let's fight. Let's just fight. Let's fight, and then we'll figure it out along the way. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Then, but I think we're all talking and everything's going well. So I'm happy with the way things are going. But I think it's more important. Fans are yelling and screaming about this fight. Everybody wants it, and I think it's more important that we put this fight on for the fans.
He says that he told the UFC, "I win this fight, no if, ands, or buts. I'm getting a title shot." Do you feel the same way? You win this fight, you should get another crack at the belt?
Yeah, this is a number one contender fight for sure. No ifs, ands, or buts. I think the public would agree. I thought I should have got a title shot after Justin Gaethje because of all the if Justin Gaethje beat me, I was almost positive Justin Gaethje was getting a shot at the belt. But vice versa, it didn't go the other way, So no big deal. I'll get back in there, show what I'm capable of, fight my heart out, and then I just think the belt comes as a byproduct of a bunch of hard work and kind of being courageous and putting yourself in there against the best guys, and we'll just keep doing that, and the belt will that whole thing will take care of itself with the world title.
I got to ask you, Eddie, because I was sort of putting it out there. I know that Nate Diaz was talking to the UFC. I know that they were in serious negotiations. And I also know that they were talking about a top 5 lightweight. Since then, of course, they're talking about GSP, but it doesn't sound like either side wants that fight. And Nate Diaz even told MMA Junkie over the weekend that he had someone in mind other than GSP, but that fight is unavailable. And I thought the only fight that made sense was you. Was that ever discussed?
From what I was told, the Nate Diaz was not available. Okay. That the GSP thing was going to happen. So that from what I'm told that was the thing going down, that he wasn't available. I've asked for Nate Diaz again and again. I just don't think they want the fight. I feel like if I want to fight with someone, I have to talk about that guy. I have to let it known to fans. I got to let it know to the promotion. I have to speak up. I can't just say secretly want to fight a guy. I have to speak up. And if you don't speak up, especially in the UFC, you don't get shit. So, Nate didn't speak up. So if it was me who he wanted, he blew that. He blew it. So he's got to talk, and he's not talking. I think Nate's too busy. He wants to be the victim, and he wants people to bully him and stick his face so he can feel like the victim. That's Nate's deal. So, Nate can't go calling people out and saying who he wants to fight and be the victim at the same time. That's the kind of dude he is. So, and if he keeps playing it the way he is, he's never going to get a fight. So, he's a non-factor right now in the world of MMA. That's all we have to say about him.
And you've moved on.
I mean, right now, it's a non-factor. My mind's on Dustin. I got tunnel vision. To take care of Dustin right now. If Nate wants to say my name, just say my name. That's it. And the fight's done. Just say it. He's so afraid to say it. I don't know what his deal is.
Will you watch? I want to ask you the same question that I asked Dustin. Will you watch the first fight? By the way, happy anniversary of that fight. It was exactly a year ago yesterday. It's crazy how quickly time has flown. Will you watch that fight in preparation for the second fight?
I watched it yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I watched it yesterday. I watched it. When is it? Yesterday. What's today? Sunday. No, I lied. I watched it Saturday morning before sparring.
Wow.
Because
how many times?
Because I wanted to see quickly before I had the sparring some of the thing. I remember being in the fight, and I just. Like, if you watch the fight after that, the adjustments that I made with Gaethje, as far as being more offensive, coming forward, using more angles, I've corrected like a shitload of things that I did wrong in the Dustin fight. I gave Dustin a lot of range. I gave him a lot of room to work, and he did well. I just sometimes I get stuck in that. I got stuck in that with Connor, where I was giving him too much room to work. And when I do that against guys with longer reach, especially southpaw, that things are coming in at a little more of an angle, I get tugged up too much. So lately, and even before the Justin fight, I just begun to believe in my power again and my ability to really damage and hurt people. And even my teammates like Marlon and Frankie and them kind of brought that back out of me. Like, Ed, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing waiting on the outside? Like, when you hit the way you do, and you're as strong as you are. So, like, just moving forward now and damaging people, which I used to do in the past. So I just want to, not give these guys room to work. And I'll make adjustments. Believe me, it'll be a whole different fight. A whole different fight. And the fans are going to love it.
How many times do you think at this point you've seen that fight?
I don't know. I'm not like a lot of fighters. I watch myself over and over and over. I'm my biggest critic. So and it took me a while to watch it, because what I really wanted to know with the whole controversy, I really wanted to see the truth of that whole controversy with him. But and that's why I say, like, I've watched this thoroughly. I've watched it thoroughly. I watched him sort of negotiating with himself. Am I going to stay in? Am I going to be out? Him look over at me as I'm pacing, as he's on the stool, still negotiating with himself. Should I stay in or should I stay out? And then the whole quitting part, where he looks at Herb and says, my, which was complete bullshit. So I've watched this thoroughly, slow motion, over and over. And I would never come out with a claim and say, oh, the guy quit. I would never say that like hastily. I would never do that. I would definitely take my time before I made a judgment like that.
Do you still feel like it was a legal shot?
from what I'm told, the first two knees were legal in every other state except for Texas, and then the third knee was illegal. The third knee was illegal. But as far as people saying, "Oh, I did it on purpose because I knew that I wasn't," I mean, I got to be the slicker. You have to think highly of me. I have to have a super high intelligence in this sport to be half knocked out and have the thought in mind like, I'm gonna get DQ'd so I can win. Like, that's some super fast analyzing. I hate to break it to the fans out there, but I'm not that intelligent to be doing that at super fast speeds in the middle of a fight. That was me in a dog mode, half knocked out, just trying to survive. So this is what happens, and that's why they have judges, man. I'm fist fighting for my life, literally for my life. I don't assess like the rules and things like that. I'm fist fighting. It's all instinctual. So that's why they have a ref. A ref, says what's fair and what's unfair.
Before I let you go, Eddie, I'm trying to ask everyone this question because I'm fascinated in this topic. Did you see what happened between the fourth and fifth round on Saturday night with Raquel Pennington, with her saying that she was done, I'm done, I want to be done, and her corner saying, no, 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 let's go back out there? Did you see that? And if so, do you have a problem with that?
I did, and I seen you had a pretty strong view of it.
Yes.
And when I listened to your view of it, and I have conflicting views of the whole thing.
Okay.
It's very, very hard for me to give you my honest opinion. Is I was there where she was in a fight before.
Mm-hmm.
I was there. I was exactly where she was, where I told my corner, I think I'm out of this. And
which fight was that?
Brought me. Gilbert Melendez broke my nose and orbital in the first round of the Mexico fight, and
Okay.
I went back to the I believe I went back to the stool, and I talked to Henry, and I didn't say what she said. I wasn't very clear. I was just like, man, I'm messed up, and you could tell my spirit was a bit broken. And Henry brought me back off the ledge, and and let me know like, hey, we're gonna deal with this. And I called back and I won the fight, and I kind of owed that to Henry Hoof, who brought me back to the fight. And if it was just myself negotiating with myself in my own mind, my spirit was low. And I think you're right. A corner's job is to protect the fighter, but a corner's job is also they're like the pit stop. Like when a car's doing the Indy 500, the car's going to be worn down. The car's going to be messed up. Shit's going to break. Shit's going to fly off. It's them guys' job at the pit stop to revive that car, to revive the spirit of that car and send it back out there on the road. But at all costs, send it back on the road. So it's a double-edged sword. I think there's not a one answer to that question. The better the corner knows the fighter, the better decision the corner can make to that fighter. But that relationship between the fighter and the corner, there's no one answer for that, for what you're saying. So I feel like you're being a bit I do feel like you're being a bit judgmental, not knowing the situation. But the relationship between the corner and the fighter, that's what's going to determine whether that person's sent back out there or not. And that's something that's only between them two. Nobody else can judge it, the relationship.
That's very fair, and I respect it more than you know. But is it fair to also say that with her saying I'm done and them responding the way they did and then not offering any technical advice, any sort of game plan to turn the tide, that maybe that wasn't the best coaching possible? I may not know about the relationship, but I feel like at this point we know what's good coaching and what's not. Nothing was said there other than let's recover later. We'll recover later. Let's dig down deep. Let's give it all you got. What does that do? That does nothing. That's just a little bit of a motivational speech. There's no path to victory with that kind of advice. Is it fair to say that on that end, maybe things could have been done differently?
You're right. I read that you said send her back out there and tell her she got 1 minute.
Yeah.
I really like that. But also remember, Ariel, we're looking at it from the outside. We're looking at it in a very cognitive view. But when I'm a coach and I care about someone and they just told me they want to quit, which kind of throws me for a loop. I have 1 minute to talk to this person, and my mind and heart rate are probably the same as the fighter. Like, I'm making very rash decisions that I hope are the right ones. So from the outside, to be outside coaches and say this should have been said or this should have been done. There wasn't a protocol online. Like, she didn't tell them before the fight, hey, if I decide I want to quit, this is going to be the plan. We're going to do this, that, this, and that. Like, literally, she just hit him with, in the fourth round of a very intense situation, hit him with, I'm done. And they probably were thrown back because she probably never told her corner that ever. And they were looking like there was no protocol online. It wasn't like, they're not used to a fighter saying to them, I'm finished. So they just kind of did what they felt was in their heart was right at the time, considering the relationship that they have with her. So, man, it's
Shouldn't there be a protocol? Shouldn't there be a discussion before the fight? If I tell you I'm done, I want you to, it's so hard for a fighter to say that, right? It's so hard to say I'm actually done. I know you guys are the proudest human beings walking this earth. To see her turn around and kind of whisper it to her corner, and of course the camera picks it up, that to me says a lot. This was a difficult decision to make. Shouldn't they help her out there in that moment and say, all right, we've had enough for you to say that, or at least ask her why? At least ask her, why do you want to be done with this fight? Are you hurt? Is something bothering you? Like, just gauge the situation as opposed to completely dismissing it and driving past it.
Yeah. I think that the why should have been answered before anything.
Yeah.
But think about it. Think about it as a coach. You know what I mean? Like, let's say I call Mark Henry right now and tell him I'm not coming in at 5 o'clock. What do you think his immediate response is going to be?
I get what you're saying, but this is different.
This is my coach. This is how he's used to responding to me. This is our relationship. Hey, Mark, I'm not coming in at 5 o'clock. You think he's going to ask me what's going on in my life, or you think he's going to say, yes, the fuck you are?
I mean, maybe both, right? Maybe he could say why, and then, nah, come on, man, I'll see you at 5 o'clock.
I don't know. I just think coaches, how a coach's relationship is with a fighter is a unique thing. There's no, like I said, there's no answer for each. There's no copy and paste for this situation.
Right.
Like, if I'm a fighter who every time something, like, let's say I'm your coach, Ariel, right? And I've knew you for 5-10 years. And every time you've had a hard round with someone, you've come back and tried to quit on me. I know that about you. You know what I mean? That's something personal. I'm not going to talk to people about it, but I know you're kind of like a bitch. You know what I mean? So it's my job as your coach to know that about you and to try to correct that. So, like, it's a personal thing, and it's in between the coach and the fighter and them knowing each other as good as they can know each other. I feel like there's no copy and paste for this situation.
Fascinating topic. I appreciate you weighing in, and thanks for being a good sport with Dustin. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun with you two. You two are just so intense, and I cannot wait for that fight. I don't know if I'm more excited for anything coming up this summer than your fight. There are fights that I'm equally as excited, but that one is just, I mean, I just can't see it going any other way but really, really, really fun for the fans. Thank you so much, Eddie. Glad you accepted it. Glad everything's okay between you and the UFC despite no new contract. Good luck out there in Calgary, and of course, good luck as you prepare for the fight.
Thanks, Ariel. I appreciate it.